I guess not bad. I guess we'll just freestyle this thing. Let's go. Comes out, it comes out.
Okay, all right. Hey guys, Chelsea Coffey here with the Coffee Break. I am joined by my wonderful
What's up, y'all?
Warren Creval, and I'm just really excited. I have wanted to like sit down and just kind of like digest everything and kind of like love on each other. And it occurred to me that like one, I want to remember all the little moments and all the memories and everything that built up to the proposal, and then also like there are just people who like I feel like I kind of told them part of the story or pieces of the story, and I just want to have it like all in one place for our records and just to share it with our loved ones. So, Warren, do you want to start at the beginning, like with how we met? And you want me to start?
I'll let you start.
Okay, so I used to work for a magazine, and I was fashion editor slash like social media editor. It was like kind of like a, some jobs you have like a lot of different duties. And I was in a photo shoot, and not for the magazine, but like for a separate thing. And I got a call from like my coworker, and she was like, "We have to go to this event, and it's for like whatever the soccer team for Houston, the Dynamo." And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, soccer. I was like, not there's anything wrong with soccer to be clear,
Whatever.
but I was like, oh, like like I hadn't had a lot of experience with soccer, so I was kind of like, I guess I'll just go and do my best. Like
She was asleep still.
so I may have been sleeping. So anyway, I kind of like was glad because like it was a gala or what do you guys call it, a banquet?
Yeah, end of the year team banquet.
Yeah, and
Awards.
awards, yeah, awards banquet. And anyway, but the cool thing was like my hair was already done, like my makeup was done, like I was basically pre-packaged because I was coming from a photo shoot. And I didn't have to think about what I was going to wear. I was already in the city, like it was just like best case scenario. So I got there and like I walk in and there's like this like wall of guys and I was just like who knew that soccer had so much like so many options, I just couldn't believe it. But anyway, I was there for work though, and in my head I was like, no, this is a professional event. I don't want to not be taken seriously. So I proceeded to like tuck my head down and I just looked for the check-in desk and I just kept walking. I didn't make eye contact with any of the guys. Like I just did my thing. Warren. I just did my thing and I was just carrying on, went to find my seat and like sat down. So I'm trying to think. After the event was over, and keep in mind they had one part where the guys literally were like paraded through the room, and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, I just cannot believe that this is like here all this time, and I had no idea. So, and keep in mind, like sometimes like in Houston, like there are a ton of beautiful people to be clear, but sometimes you can go to something and you're just like, oh gosh, like I wish there was somebody in here who was cute. And that was not the story that day. That was not the story that day. So anyway, there's an after party at Hotel Zaza. This was like where all of it happened. And we walk over to a group of guys. So we walk over to the group of guys and the I don't know, Warren, I don't know, were you the first person whose hand I shook or was it maybe Coffey? No, it was maybe Alex. Was it you?
I don't know who's name shook first.
Anyway, so we walked over to the guys and I was like, hi, my name is Chelsea Coffey. Like, I'd love to get a picture of you guys. Guys, it was like on my iPhone, and this is like before iPhones had like good flash. So it was really like the darkest picture ever because the room was like really dark and like not well lit. And I guess they're going for like more of like a moody vibe kind of. And I was like, can I get your picture? And then we like stood around. So at some point, like I had to get the names of the guys so that I could tag them in the post. So I get the name. So Warren's like Warren Creval, and I was like, how do you spell it? And as he spelled it, when he got to like the double L, I was like, Creavalle. I was like, oh, I was like, where are you from? And this guy is like, it's Creval. It's not Spanish. I was like,
I'm gonna change my last name
it's like, okay. I was like,
to your liking.
my bad. I was like, obviously, I, didn't know how to pronounce it. Like, I apologize. So that was kind of my first reaction, which is so funny because it's like such a true Warren like interaction and engagement. So anyway, we proceeded to stand there and like we told him about the magazine and like what we did and all that different stuff. And he just like proceeded to just stand there and like talk to us and talk to us and talk to us and talk to us. And I was like, it's like he's kind of cool. So I'm trying to think. At some point, like it was time to go, and it was like, you better follow us on social media. Like we engage with all these different people. I was like, and they'll know everything that we have going on every time we see them. I was like, don't be a ghost follower. Seriously.
That was her tactic.
No, like I thought that was like so annoying. Like we would go out and they'd be like, "Hey, we saw you guys. Like you've been everywhere." Like, and I'm always like, "Why do you fake follow us? That's so weird." So anyway,
It's like there better be some engagement.
I didn't say that.
I mean, basically.
I was just like, "Don't ghost follow. Like either follow or don't follow."
You better be on here liking,
I didn't say
retweeting,
that. I did not say any of
tweeting.
that. I didn't say any of that. I just said, give us a follow if you're going to be here for it. So anyway, we leave, and like when we were walking outside, like my coworker was like, she was like, which one? And I was like, what? And she was like, which one do you like? And I was like, thought about it, and I was like, Warren, like that.
Oh yeah, was it a close second?
No, there wasn't. Really.
Okay.
It was like, just like, I think I was kind of like embarrassed because it was like, I wonder if it's like so obvious like that, And anyway, so we get home, or to her place, and like she's like, pull him up. So we like Google him. I was like, oh, it's kind of weird to Google him. I was like, oh, I don't know that we should like Google him. It didn't even occur to me. Like, obviously you can't Google him. It was kind of cool. I pull it up. He's 23. No, you were 22. And I was 25, about to turn 26. So I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, okay, well, we're done here. I was like, it was cool to meet him. Like, he's a baby. And he's not going to be ready, like, for anything serious probably anytime soon. Unless he's just, like, one of those, like, serious relationship guys. And I was already talking about, like, wanting to get married and, like, all that type of stuff. I was like, what are we going to do with each other after a certain point, So anyway, that's kind of like the build-up, I guess, of how things got started.
I mean, but after that, I got started. I'm not gonna tell that part. The DM.
First of all, Warren sent a tweet, and it was like, hey, Houston.
There's no evidence of this tweet.
That's not true. I probably have a screenshot of it somewhere, by the way.
Okay.
And he like added us. He tagged me. He tagged everybody that he met that night.
True. I wasn't trying to be a ghost follow,
Yeah.
It was like being professional. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then you took it to DM.
I did.
I know what happens in here.
Look, no, I
know what happens in here.
I don't know why you like started.
It goes down.
Look, first of all, that song hadn't come out yet. First thing. Second thing, the reason why I messaged him is because at Zaza, we had a conversation, and it was like, hey, I'd love to do a photo shoot with you guys. Like, let me know, because, like, I was doing, like, styling for the magazine, too, obviously, and I was like, we'd have some really great connects. I was like, we can do a really cool shoot with you guys. Like, let me know, like, whenever you guys are available, and we'll make it happen. So when he messaged us, I was like, perfect. I was like, why don't we like get together to do the photo shoot? So I literally like messaged him and I was like, hey, let's grab coffee sometime. I was like, here's my phone number.
That don't sound like a photo shoot.
It is. First of all, like Warren doesn't like this part of the story, but like I've had a lot of like business meetings that started off like via DM. Like, hey, like yeah, for sure. Like, let's do it. Let's meet up. That's not uncommon. Girls and guys.
I bet.
Okay, you trying me. So anyway, he proceeded, like, it wasn't even 5 minutes later, you guys. Like, I love this part of the story. He messages me to my phone, and he's like, good morning, Miss Coffey. And I was like that. Like, I was like, hi.
Yeah, I'll run a little game. You know what I'm
I was like, hey, good morning.
Everybody get text.
Anyway, and I was like, what did I say, babe? I was like, hey, I was like, the reason why I reached out to you is I was like, I would love to get together to talk about the photo shoot with you and your friends. Like, I think it would be like a really great opportunity for like magazine, but like also for you guys. Like, when you want to meet up? And he was like, I just got back to Atlanta. And you guys, like, this part is so embarrassing for me. I literally like sent the emoji with like the streaming tears face, which like I had just met him. Like, I don't know why I thought it was appropriate to have such like a sincere response like to the news that he had just left. I don't know, I was just caught up. I was like, I like him even though he's baby. So anyway, yeah, like that was kind of it. And then he came back to Houston like when off season was over, like the first night he texted me. And he was like, I'm back
So I
home.
gotta hit the ground running.
To make it up for last time. And then he was like, hey, Miss Coffey, I'm back on whatever the address was for like the apartments. But it was Fannin, so I knew he was back in Houston. And it was so cool because I had like in my mind the day that he was gonna get back. Because I kept saying like, when are you gonna get back? Like, oh, like when do you get back in town? And like he would never give me like a straight answer. Like mid-January was his like go-to answer. And I was like, well, yeah, and I didn't want to push it because I was like, whatever, if he wants to be breezy, he can be breezy. So, but anyway, like we got like dinner. It wasn't very good, unfortunately. But it didn't matter. Oh, you guys, I also had an injury within this time. Like, I was like stretching and I like went to turn. Have you ever had a good morning where you like get up and you like go to stretch like it's a commercial or something like that because you just feel fabulous? Well, I did it, and when I turned, like, whichever way, like, my neck stayed. And this is, like, 3 days before he messaged me. So I literally was, like, in so much pain. And so I had to go on our first date, and I couldn't move my neck. So if I wanted to tell him something, it had, like, my whole body had to, like, go. And I was really embarrassed because he's an athlete, and I was like, he's going to think that I'm not, like, built to last. Is that what you thought? Or you didn't even think that?
I think, things have been confirmed or denied by this point.
Anyway, so yeah, that was like kind of how things started out for us, and it was just a really fun, like sweet little window of time. We dated for a little while, and then, he was a baby, and I wanted to get married, and we just couldn't find like the common ground with that, so we went our separate ways. And then, this is kind of the long version. This video is going to be so long, guys. Sorry, but it is a long story. But then, like, his business account was, like, giving me a lot of likes. Like, a lot of likes.
This is fast forward 3 years or something like
Fast
that.
forward, yeah. Is it 3 years or 2?
After that.
Like 2.5, 2 and 8. Anyway.
At least 2.
At least 2.
2.5.
For sure, 2.5. Mm-hmm. So, I like checked out the account and I was like, oh my gosh, like everything that Warren said, like he wanted to do things that I didn't even like remember him talking about. I was like, look at this guy, like this is so awesome. I'm so happy for him. And I was like actually very proud of him because, like sometimes like people don't have to pursue other interests if they feel like they're good. And the fact that he was doing that, I just thought that was like the coolest thing. So I was like, hey, I was like, congratulations. Like, I just have to tell you, like, this is so awesome. So guys, this is on New Year's Eve 2015, by the way, that I sent this message. And I was like, It's like one of those like cheesy like fairy tales where you like, just throw something up, you don't think twice about it. And because it was
shot.
I didn't shoot my shot, shut up. And because
I throw it up
and because
ran back for something.
Lauren, I was literally just being nice. And because the account was a business account, I have a couple of business accounts, and I was like, I don't check them regularly. I was like, I know for sure that I'm missing like messages probably all the time. So I was like, I just don't know when he's gonna ever see this. I was like, I don't know if other people.
Shot was just up there rattling around the rim. just going around, and one
You're
day
so
it just
disrespectful.
one day it just dropped, and I checked.
Which was all about energy. So on a Friday, I'll never forget it. Friday, January 22nd, and I only know the Friday date because of what happened next. On the 22nd, I like met this guy, and he was so cool. Like we like hit it off. Like
How cool?
Not as cool as you. Can't even like, not even cool really. Just like good conversation. Sorry, baby. So anyway, but yeah, like, and we're just like going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's like Friday, right? And it's like, all right, cool, take care, nice to meet you. So then on Saturday, we like pick back up the conversation, boom, 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 right? You guys, the last text from that guy came in at like 5:30. I get on Instagram at maybe like 6. We could probably have a timestamp, obviously. I get on Instagram at maybe like 6, and I have a DM. So I go and I look at it, and y'all, it was from Warren. This was like the first guy that I had like really like kind of like felt something for in like a very long time. So it was kind of one of those things where like I just kind of fell out laughing because I was like, only Warren would like sense that I had like felt like a strong connection with someone, and after a month almost of like not seeing the message, would like step in and be like, as much as you think you like him, like please, what are we doing? What are we talking about? So literally we like proceed. Oh, I hope he never sees this because I kind of feel bad, but it doesn't matter. So basically, from like 6 o'clock when Warren messaged me, or 6:30, whatever the time was, to like what time, baby? To like 3 o'clock in the morning his time. We like were texting like nonstop.
3 o'clock
like,
in the morning?
Yeah, it was late.
Man.
And it was just like, are you clowning me because like I don't hang anymore?
I didn't realize.
Yeah, we stayed up literally all night talking, like just like old times, like we hadn't missed a beat. And it was just the coolest thing for me, you guys, because I was like, regardless of like what's gonna happen, like even if it's like, even if it's like we're just like coming, because he was so much fun, and I like really missed having him as like part of my like people in my life, And I was like, even if this was just a situation where like we're just back in each other's lives for a time, I was like, it would be cool for us to just be friends again. Because like when we were like deciding to go our separate ways, I was like, this isn't like a cycle that I want to like continue. So I was like, you know what, I've missed him and I value his friendship. And I was like, maybe I, can be open to being friends with him, So I was just excited about it. And like over time, it like built and built and built and built. And at some point, you were already living in Philly, right?
Yep.
He was living in Philly, which is like 2 hours away from New York. I ended up moving to New York, and I was like, in my mind, Philly, I had no idea that Philly and New York were so close together. But I was like, oh, like, he loves New York. I was like, it would be cool, like, if we can, like, hang out sometimes. But it just never occurred to me that, like, we would be able to see each other, like, often. Like, you guys, like, this guy, he was up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
On New York trips.
It was so sweet. Like, I didn't even have a chance to get on a dating app to go to, like, anybody's, like, barbecue. Well, it was a little late for barbecues at that point of the year. Like, I literally didn't have a chance to meet anybody else because, like, Warren was so sweet and he just, like, hit the ground running. And we just, like, boom, we're, like, doing life together, like, from the very beginning. So it was, like, a very special part of, like, my East Coast transition just because I think moving to another city is hard, but I think it really is, like, pretty cool, like, when you do it with, like, people that you love and who, are rooting for you and just all that. So anyway, at some point, I moved to Bed-Stuy. I was living in Flatbush before, and then I moved to Bed-Stuy. These are both areas of Brooklyn. And when I moved to Bed-Stuy, I started Airbnb-ing my apartment. So my time in Philly, like, picked up like that, and I was just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So we kind of, like, flip-flopped, and he didn't even have to come to New York as much anymore. And now, like, we're both in Philly, but I'm kind of jumping around. So this is kind of where you step in, I guess. We've had, like, a beautiful 2 years, more or less, together, and, it's just been really great. So